Hello. Anyway, Freeze, you were talking to that guy for a while. Maybe you can learn something from my conversation with him, which I think much more quickly found out how good he was or what kind of person he was or that kind of thing. Like it's not all better to do it my way. There's upsides to what you were doing. Like you can actually get him to say more. But I like very quickly got to a sort of conclusion about who he is, what he is. It's very efficient if you're looking for people who aren't completely terrible to find out in a faster way what they're like. Oh, you can say cunt on this server. Maybe only if you're like an established member and a leftist, vote Labor. If you're an Ayn Rand fan who just got here, you probably can't say it. No, Justin, it's just luck. Because it checks every 15 minutes, so it could check like 10 seconds after you start a stream. Yeah, the pro tier is like 5 or 2 or something now, I forgot. I did not say vegan debates. I'm just gonna put chat off screen unless people actually talk in it. Because space problems. My basic plan is to continue working on my article in response to Kirzner. But I might talk to people in Discord some. You can start conversations with people if you want. Let's do the next guy. This method of arguing defeats like everyone, and you don't have to know anything whatsoever about the topic. They just literally will not answer questions like these. It's so hard to get any kind of reply that's substantive. Which it's sort of sad because it's so generic. Like they just lose sort of before the conversation starts, like before you get to the actual topic. They just lose by being completely unreasonable about things like literature. But it's dangerous because you could go around doing this with an idea that's wrong, like veganism. You could ask the non-vegans if they know literature sources, and then they'll just say ridiculous things, and then you could be like, oh, I guess the non-vegans are dumb. But that's just a broader part of the more general fact that most people are dumb for all positions. Like you could argue with vegans or non-vegans in a more normal way, and for either group you could conclude that they're dumb just from normal arguments, not just the literature stuff. Holy shit! Oh my god. Um, I got a YouTube comment saying my speedrun looks casual because I use save load scumming, where you spam save load to get through certain specific parts. Specifically, you use it on traps where you have like a, say, a 40% chance to disarm the trap. So you save and you try to disarm the trap, and if it fails, you reload, and you can get through the trap in like 5 seconds, despite having a low disarm chance. Or not like super low, but unreliable. So it saves time compared to, I don't know, not going through the trap unless your disarm chance is really high. It's a very, very silly comment. That beating the game in under an hour looked more casual than expected. And I did not save load much in general. Like, I use it for a specific purpose. It's not like I was just randomly dying to stuff. I save load before traps. And maybe I use that for unlocking doors sometimes, because the unlock spell has a chance of success or not. I forget if that's in the run. Unlock is only 3 mana, so you don't necessarily have to save load, but if it's a really low chance, you can, like, save, and if you don't get it within, like, 5 tries, then you can reload to save mana. I'm Elliot Temple. Oh, that was not the right thing. I didn't mean to go to Twitch. I meant to go to Twitter. Oh, 8 more notifications. And anyways, I was going to look at this comment. My specialty is about how to think, learn, and reason. Related to that, I'm interested in how to have a rational discussion, how to research a topic, and how to organize it. So I've recently been making diagrams that look at a subject and try to organize the objective state of the debate. Like, from a neutral, unbiased perspective, what arguments have been made, what responded to what has gone unanswered, what questions are answered and unanswered, etc. You can make a diagram that shows that information. All right, answered. Try to get an well, this guy didn't answer me. Freeze, you could ask him to answer me, or you could ask him about literature or something. Maybe he's about to answer me. He was just in the middle of saying all that stuff. Sometimes people bug me. Like, Avi did this the other day. Avi? I don't know how to pronounce it. Avi? AVI? Um, he's like, are you going to answer the question? Or it was, are you going to give me the literature sources? It was just because I kept writing, like, 2 other messages to finish my thought before switching. And he thought I wasn't going to, like, get to him. But it's reasonably common that people, like, want to write out what they're currently thinking about before dealing with a different thing. So that's, you know, he might be doing that, but he might be ignoring me. It's hard to tell. This animals? Yeah, I guessed. I should really make better URLs. Instead of archive slash list category slash number, I could make word-based category URLs. I just haven't done it for the last 10 years. I have to keep backwards compatibility, but that's not hard. If you guys, who is you guys? Is there more than one person? Is it like Andy or someone? 115. 115. Is there a deeper reason why you refuse to read? Read and find out. I see. Oh, this guy's not a Bayesian. People just assume there's literature for stuff that they've never seen. Freeze, you're mixing things up. You're probably thinking of Binswanger misquoting Popper. Uh, Eliza misrepresented Popper, but I don't remember him misquoting. Well, let's try this then. No, I'll just say nothing. I would not share that tree with a hostile audience. Also, this screenshot is kind of confusing because it reads, you have to read upwards. And you don't have the whole tree as context to see how it's laid out very well. Like, you can see it a little at the bottom, but it's easy to miss it and read it in the wrong order. Back to notification. Is there anything else here? Well, it seems to basically just be these Adam and Lars. Is this a quote from DD's blog post now? This. I don't know what this is from. This one is the guy in chat, I know. Maybe this is the guy in chat earlier? That's not weird. That's completely normal. Why would they be consistent about that? Like, CR is true and induction is mainstream, so they have, like, some of their ideas aren't wrong and some of their ideas follow the standard propaganda. It takes a lot of work to get consistent. Like, our culture sort of default views are not consistent. It's not like induction for everything 100% of the time. Otherwise, like, science wouldn't work. Uh, not the asshole. Okay, given that he hasn't responded yet, I'm now concerned he's not learning about CR. He's just ignoring it with no arguments. So I may have caught him being irrational. Isn't this the standard position of Austrians? Why is Kirzner complaining about this? This is all true. I thought that Austrians knew that a lot of people were wrong. Like, look at fucking Hazlitt's book on Keynes. I thought that, like, part of the point of being an Austrian economist was you, like, recognize that Keynes and Marx were completely fucking wrong, and that their followers are completely fucking wrong, and so on. Is he okay with attacking Keynes and Marx, just not Samuelson and Nordhaus? Almost wrong. Add it to the list. Here we go. Freeze, I thought that's what the article you guys were talking about. Was it not? I didn't pay close attention, I just guessed it was that one. I talk to a wall for hours sometimes, but uh, I generally have a realistic understanding that that is probably what's going to happen. So that's something. And I've been doing it less often because it got repetitive after hundreds of times. But it's my sense of life, my sense of reality, my intuition is like fundamentally rational where it makes sense to me that each argument, the next thing I say, he'll be like, "Oh, now I get it. That makes sense." Like logically, I've learned not to expect that, but it feels like it should be that way to me. It is counterintuitive to me that each time they just come up with new rationalizations and dishonesty and so on over and over again, and they never listen and think and get it. So yeah, filters like whether they will read something help with quality, although they also have gotten it to the point where it's very hard to find anyone to talk to. Like, part of why I talk to people who are worse than that filter sometimes is because it's that or like don't talk to anyone. It's hard to find just halfway reasonable people meeting basic standards who want to talk about anything. I don't know much about Kirzner, Justin, except that he got his PhD under Mises, and he is considered an Austrian. Reisman in Capitalism mentions Kirzner on a list of important Austrians at the end. I'll show you. This paragraph. He's like, the most important members of the Austrian school are Menger, Bomba, Mises. Then he mentions also Wieser, Hayek, Hazlitt, and Rothbard. And then he says of the later students who are still alive, and he mentions Senholz and Kirzner. Oh, it was Brett Hall's argument that he was arguing with? His arguments on Bayesianism or in general? I don't know if I've read his arguments on Bayesianism. It's just a general comment that you shouldn't be surprised if people can find stuff wrong with it when it's coming from Brett, because his general quality is not high enough. I don't like to read Brett because he's not open to discussion, so it's like I'll find errors and then they can't be corrected, and I don't really see the point of that, and also I've already talked with him quite a lot on email discussion groups in the past, and he was just never very good. Okay, so I was gonna look up everything Reisman said about subjective, because it's not that many. 11. I don't think Mises claimed they were arbitrary. If he did, he probably didn't mean the word arbitrary in the way that Reisman or I would mean it. Okay, well, this is perfect. Instead of writing my own arguments, I can just give a very lengthy quote from Reisman and say Kirzner did not engage with it. And then I don't actually have to figure this shit out. I mean, I have opinions on the subject. By figure it out, I mean figure out exactly what each different Austrian thought, which is kind of a mess and, like, different than figuring out what's true. So that guy just didn't respond to me. I like DD's books in order better than in reverse order. Like, if someone's gonna read both, I think reading Fabric first is better. Also, but they can skip parts if they want to. Like, they can skip the time travel parts. They could skip the virtual reality parts. Fabric has some, like, harder technical parts, but you could just only read the... And you could skip the physics entirely. Like, you could skip chapter 2. But I would recommend that they read, like, chapters 1, 3, 4, and 7, and 9 and 10. I think that's it. At least, like, read those before reading BOI. McGee's book is okay. Oh, 1, 3, 7 to 8. Wait, what's 8? When I said 9 and 10, I was thinking evolution and math. Although I guess you could skip the math. Maybe evolution is 8, not 9. Let's find out. Print book. Table of contents. Oh yeah, 8. 8, not 9. Not quantum computers. Yeah, I meant evolution. Yeah, so 1, 3, 4, 7, 8 is a good starting point for PR before reading BOI, in my opinion. But yeah, some of the other chapters are more technical and harder. Please, have you read Fabric and BOI both? And then, other than that, what I recommend is the Popper selections on the FI page. Like, McGee's book is okay, but I'd suggest just actually reading Popper over that, I think. Wait, chapter 13 is way past halfway. You, like, skipped a bunch, I guess? But anyways, with Popper, I recommend I recommend specific chapters and essays. It's, like, very targeted, because Popper wrote a huge amount. And yeah, I would read the specific Fabric chapters I was talking about, if not all of them. Oh, that's a lot, Rat. A lot of people just stop after one reading and, like, seem to think that that's enough, and they actually don't know much about it. Listening versus reading, it's good to do both. It depends on the material and how closely you want to read. Like, you can get extra readings by listening when you're at the gym or something, and it's just like bonus. But it's still good for the more important books to look at them more slowly sometimes. Yeah, so this server has like 1,000 people online or something out of 6,000 members, if I remember right. Oh, I can scroll up. Someone, yeah, 1,330 people online, but 5,300 members. Everyone just spams general. No one uses serious discussion. My message is just sitting here. No one disagrees with me. It's such a basic fucking question. They'd probably argue with me if I didn't ask for literature. And I just, like, said induction is false. People would probably argue. Like, Freeze got argued with by saying stuff about Bayes. But when I'm like, can you link me to something, then no one has anything. Did I mute this shit yet? Oh, I did. Okay. Holy shit, this is hostile. I need to quote some of this, like... Hypocritical hostility. That comma's wrong too, so. Oh wait. Oh yeah, here's the pairing. Patronizing if not thoroughly contemptuous. So it goes patronizing attitude. This is a parenthetical. So this patronizing attitude of today, comma, can only deepen. It's just a subject-verb split. Wait, am I in the word? Oh, I pasted in the wrong section. Here we go. Oh, I just said yes to principle of charity, partly because the question was it wasn't do you agree with the principle of charity, it was do you agree to follow the principle of charity? So if they decide I'm not following the principle of charity, they can like ban me or whatever. I don't care. Like it didn't seem worth arguing over. I just moved on. Also, I didn't get initiated right away. It took like 10 minutes and then someone else got initiated and me at the same time. Yeah, I just skimmed through the roles for some things that looked like they fit me and seemed fine. It's partly like rule following because they tell you to pick roles, so I don't want to get in trouble for not picking roles and like have something stupid like that cause problems. And also, people can hover over me and get some idea of some of my ideas, so it's okay. The principle of charity is vague. It's not well defined, but certainly, like, to some approximation of it, I do that. It's whatever. Still no answer. Well, let's go try it on the other server. I didn't regard my disagreements with the principle of charity as relevant to the server and their initiation. You go to the roles channel and click on things. If it's blank, you have to quit Discord and reopen it. That's what I had to do. I think this is unfortunate timing. I don't think Freeze is answering me. Oh, it's different on your screen? That's interesting. I didn't know Discord was inconsistent about message ordering and timestamps. That's kind of shitty. It must be admitted that Reisman is totally with Mises in terms of his attitude. So earlier he fucking blamed it on Reisman being an objectivist, but here he admits that it's because it's because of Mises and that Reisman is just being a normal Austrian. Yes. Okay, so I want to find something about tone. Or like rand. Bucket. Preview is terrible at search. I don't know why it's so broken. Previous. What the fuck is this? Go away. Is delete? I think I added a box to the thing by accident. Oh, he blames some of his Reisman's claims on this stuff. Okay, style? No. Tone. Wait, is there no count? Like, how many times is tone in the document? Why does it not tell me the count? It's like a basic part of search, isn't it? Isn't there an advanced search in this app? Where do I get that? Search. There we go. Okay. Can I get rid of this side window thing? Am I stuck with it? Oh, single click it. Alright, now it's small. That's better. Okay, so tone. One document with 6 instances. Okay, this is a better search. Oh, okay, so he doesn't blame it on Rand at this point. I misremembered that, so he wasn't hypocritical about that specific thing. Okay, well, I'll just put this somewhere else then. Yeah, Discord systems are a little bit dumb. But yeah, they have to label the emojis and then you react, because that's like the feature that exists. I just skipped most of the philosophy ones because I found their tags were not clear or useful. Oh look, no one's responding on this server either. Look at this fucking question, no one has answers. I'm gonna put this in chat right here. There, now it's in the YouTube chat, so the video history will have it and you can copy paste it. PDX 100 stuff is easy to find. He only commented in like 3 places. Just go to recent comments on my blog. Oh, well, I quoted like everything he said on Reddit in my 2 blog posts responding to him. So you should be able to find it that way. Okay, back to Kirzner. Oh, you read stuff from other discussions. I see. Okay, so I was near the end, and right, here we go. Oh no, I was a little earlier. I can't select text now? It was bugged earlier. I had to reopen the document. I'll just do this. But he's saying there's a crude version of Keynesianism as if there's a non-crude version of Keynesianism. So the problem here is that he's fucking a Keynesian sympathizer. Not tilting at windmills. Then why are you attacking him for it? Fuck off. Anachronistic flavor. Today's economist is extremely sophisticated and is a better version of Keynes now or something? Jesus. He responded. Oh, which server? She didn't emphasize it like a lot. She brought it up sometimes. Not at all necessarily superior to. What links are broken? What type of link? Oh, this is a good site. Thank you. Need to add this to my tree. Okay. My node. Oops. Oh, hey, Justin, I'll add this to my thing. Yeah, if you know more that I should add. Page not found. Fucking rep. This was on Mises.org? Mises.org. Alright, here we go. Dear Justin, update your link to that in your blog post. Okay. By Patrick M. O'Neill. Hey, that's like a lot of answering. Whatever. Okay. Fuck, everything's dead. Why doesn't the link work? Nozak on the Randian argument. So it doesn't look like the paper. Wait, was there a download? Download options. Oh, no, scribd.com? What's this quality? I don't want a scribd link. Can we get something better? Oh no, that's not. Nope. There's Alan's post. Is this shit not online anywhere reasonable anymore? Is this it? No. Alright, fuck it, we'll use scribd. I should get his full name. I don't even remember what it is. Robert, maybe? I don't know. Robert Nozick. Okay, I was right. Alright, save. Yeah, it's perfectly reasonable for people who dislike libertarianism to find that their dislike of libertarian has overlap with disliking objectivism, and there's some overlapping arguments. Like if you're a socialist, you're going to disagree with both libertarianism and objectivism. Like they're different, but they do have points in common, so it makes sense for enemies to see them as like similar enough. But this guy, like, he put it on different sites. Like he made a subsite for objectivism in particular, so that was good. He didn't just mix them together. Maybe I should just archive.org this one. Why is the quality so low? It's blurry. This is 11. Is this from his book or something? Um, just need to see the table of contents and see if it's chapter 11. There isn't a chapter 11. Okay, it's from somewhere else. 0 results for Rand? What the fuck? Alright, moving on. I want to put the archive.org one though, instead of the script one. Alright. This I need to save somewhere else. Get later. No, I haven't used concordance. Without embracing the Keynesianism which Reisman somewhat too freely attributes to contemporary economics. God. I wonder if this is intentional. Like, he got sort of more hostile as the review went on. He held some of his shit until the end. I don't know, he was pretty hostile in some ways earlier too. It's probably outdated, Freeze. I don't know if it's gonna work on like a modern Mac even. Like, when was the last time David updated this? It's probably before Catalina at the very least. It opened. Text goes here. Don't show again. Can you open documents? Does it open fucking text files? Alright, so capitalism. Here we go. There we go. I went in. Okay, repair. Most of these are wrong. Maybe all of them are wrong. I think this one is correct, but that's about it. Oh, this one too. Uncheck all, but then we'll do division of labor and Samuelson. Or I guess marginal value. I guess that one. Like pre and or needlessly. I guess that we can change that. The ones with or and though are not correct. Alright, repair. And we'll do sequences too. Analysis in progress. Well, it's around 1 million words. 914,000 words. Right, lots of stuff broke other than 32-bit support over time. APIs get deprecated. Alright, well this seems easy. Maybe I should have downloaded it a while ago. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, Justin, there's tons of weasel words in this article. Like the one I was looking at earlier was so bad, that's why I quoted it in particular. Not necessarily superior. Reisman did not make the claim that his work is not only superior, but, quote, necessarily superior. And that is the claim that Kirzner decided to deny. Kirzner does not deny that Reisman's ideas are superior. He hints that they're not by calling them cumbersome. But he doesn't say they're not superior, they're inferior. He says they're not necessarily superior. Like, the claim that they're necessarily superior is wrong, but the claim that they're superior, he hasn't commented on. Such an academic weasel. Reisman would himself surely maintain, that he mostly hasn't argued Marx except by virtue of his aggregate wealth argumentation. No, he would not. That's so unreasonable. There's no fucking way. Like, he attacks the labor theory of value, so that's a different argument against Marx. This one. This is such a monster sentence. I just have to go mid-sentence. And it's except by virtue. Okay. I'm so near the end of the article. It takes hours to read 14 pages. So much crap in this. Like over 5,000 words of notes, including quotes. Oh shit, he just called his opponents intellectually dishonest. Alright, I'm grabbing that. Alright, so he called me intellectually dishonest. This is so insulting, what the fuck? For the sake of self-respect, don't listen to Reisman. This is super hedged. I don't know if I would consider. Okay, I reached the end. Now what I want to do is start putting this together, so I need a new window. I need to do this off monitor before I open the wrong thing. Alright, new window. Oh, it opened the exact thing I was already on, so we're fine. Because I need two different documents, and I'm going to copy arguments from my like notes document to my new document. That's only my final stuff that I'm including. That's my plan. Covering my whole damn screen now. I'll just throw this on a side screen for the moment. Okay. I better get a link for that as well. Uh, this should be good. Yeah. What the fuck is this? Study questions? I have his program including like all the audio, but I'm gonna download that. I'm not positive if I have that document. I'm using Bing because Google is politically biased significantly more than Bing or DuckDuckGo. Google tries to control like what information you find and what you see on the internet. I do find Google is better than Bing in general, but not by like a lot. And I don't like the idea that I'll like not find people I'm searching for because I'm using Google and they just hide people like Lauren Southern or Soph or. And I think there's less risk of that happening on Bing. Bing is less sensory, so I don't want Google censoring what information I find. Yeah, I've tried DuckDuckGo. I don't really have an opinion on whether it's better or worse than Bing. I could just switch. Like, yeah, I'll just literally switch right now. Or search. Yeah, does anyone recommend Yahoo? I haven't tried that one. They still have a fucking search engine? Alright, that was like multiple misclicks in a row, but here we go. This is what Yahoo looks like. It looks like Google. Let's, Reisman Capitalism. Oh, this looks okay. I will try Yahoo for a bit. Then I'll try DuckDuckGo again. I did try DuckDuckGo before. It didn't strike me as better or worse than Bing. I don't know. I have not read Marx more than like, of some select passages, but I haven't read like Marx books. But I have talked to Marxists, and if they could quote me a passage on Marx that contradicts what I think, I would look at it, and that never happens. Also, Reisman and Mises read Marx. Reisman gives actual quotes from Marx because he's trying to talk to a modern audience where the Marxists and socialists today mostly haven't read Marx. So when Reisman wants to criticize Marx, he has to say Marx believed X and X is wrong, and then people will say back, "Oh, maybe Marx didn't believe that. I don't believe you." So he uses a bunch of Marx quotes so he can actually establish what Marx's positions were before criticizing them. It's a dumb problem to have where there's all these Marx fans who don't even know what Marx believed. Yahoo is not categories anymore, dude. I remember that from like 1996 or something. Where it was like a curated list of website organized by categories. It wasn't a search engine, right? You like click on the topic you want, and then you click on the subtopic, and then you click on the subtopic, and then you find some links that they found. And then we had like Alta Vista that like owned it, and then Google. And there was Excite and Lycos. Freeze. Ecosia is not one of the options offered by Apple that I can just default my browsers to, so I'm not going to use that. It's like way less convenient. I want it to work in the search bar, so Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, and Yahoo. Those are the four choices. Also, I doubt any smaller ones are actually very good. I certainly don't want an environmentalist one. That's gonna be biased as fuck. I have not tested them very much. You can just use them for a while. Like, occasionally I don't find what I want, and then I go search it on Google, and I'm like, oh look, Google found it better, or oh look, Google is even worse. So you got comparisons sometimes. I still use Google some, like, Google is my default search engine in Chrome, and I believe I'm still on Google on iOS, but I'm not sure. I think I only switched my Macs. Okay, so I want the hostility shit. There's a particular quote somewhere in this 5,000 words. Hypocrite. Right, here we go. This is the one I want. Should be. Okay, so I need the exact quote. Willfully. Willful dishonesty. Okay. Oh, what is this? Someone else compared? Oh, it's not as good as Google. This is not a very useful review page, it looks like. I don't know, if you got any actual, like, really specific useful points out of that page, you could quote them, but it kind of looked like a shitty review. That was clickbait to, like, advertise. Um, whether that would be bad depends on the cost, I guess. Like, if you find that cheap and easy to do and it like doesn't make much difference to you, I don't think it's like a big deal if it's if it's cheap, if it costs little resources and attention and so on. Like if you already kind of eat similar to that and you're not going to change much, then given the fact that it doesn't make much difference in your life, it's not a big deal to do it. Like I don't think eating that way is bad, but I don't think it's important. I don't think it's worth a lot of effort to change to that if you eat in a different way. I think there's a lot of bias against technology and chemicals and stuff like that and industry. And I think that bias is bad. People do stuff like they buy organic food that costs 20% more money. That's a meaningful cost. That makes a budget difference. And organic foods are not necessarily safer. Like they could be more dangerous. The standards for what is quote organic farming are like ridiculous and stupid, and they just use different pesticides. And I have no idea whether the pesticides they use are better or worse, and I think they don't know either. They just want the organic label to get sales. Never heard of that one, Justin, but like it wouldn't shock me. These people are so stupid. Like this is really typical, but serious discussion. I want fried green tomatoes. And the other one. Wait, the introduction is within. It's not a general introduction section. I don't get to introduce myself. That's funny, Justin. Not only that, the parent says it twice. And she says it in a tone. Like she's childing the child. She's treating them like a child. She's not treating them like an adult. And it's not in a way that's like useful to the child or like makes sense given context. Like there's some ways of treating children that are appropriate given the facts about the child, and then there's other ways that are just what people do to children that it's not useful or practical. Right. Kate's boring. Skim the rest. Anyone with functioning eyes will concede the debate. Alright, I'm not dealing with this shit. I like broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Broccoli is good with sauces, and it's good for like mixing into things like mashed potatoes or rice or stir fry. Whereas Brussels sprouts are good like by themselves, um, like more plain. Fortunately, no one made me eat Brussels sprouts as a kid. Kids tend to dislike a lot of bitter food, so if you make them eat bitter foods, they like get annoyed with them. I disliked broccoli as a kid because we had shitty sauce that was like mayo and mustard mixed together. Whereas if you put broccoli with a stir fry sauce, like from a Chinese restaurant, that like broccoli beef, then I like it. As a kid, I didn't even like mushrooms and onions. Like it's common for tastes to change and get broader, and people push food on kids before they're like ready for it or want it, and then they alienate the food from the kid from the food. Yeah, broccoli with mayo and mustard sauce, dipping sauce. I don't know how common that is or why we had that. I was not a big fan of it. In fact, I was a bit of an anti-fan of it. In terms of Avi's advice, he's a vegan, right? So my general opinion is that you should stay away from the extreme shit, and that vegans are extraordinarily biased. Like vegans are even more biased than keto or paleo or Weight Watchers or whatever. Like vegans are the most biased because for them there's like extra political and environmentalist stuff involved. It's like activism rather that goes beyond diet. So they're like the last people I'd listen to on diet advice, pretty much. I thought you meant more like just sort of following some mainstream standard diet advice, like I don't know, don't eat too much highly processed foods with a lot of fat or whatever, and like eat, sometimes some fruit and salad and a mix of all the food, something more like that, just like standard shit versus like only eating corn dogs. It's like fine, I guess. I mean, only corn dogs is bad, but like, I don't know, you probably like too much junk food. Like, I think you shouldn't be super worried about eating too much junk food, but it's fine not to also. Something like that. Like, quote, junk food. I don't know, Justin. I have some frozen corn dogs, and they have like honey in the batter, so they're too sweet. I'm not a big fan of them. I think corn dogs should be savory. I don't know why you would put sugar in them. But like a bunch of them are like that. I like some stuff sweet, but I eat savory more, and I don't want sweet on my corn dog. Well, ketchup is okay. Like ketchup has sweet in it, and I'll put ketchup on it, but so I guess that's an exception. It wasn't terrible anyways, I just wasn't a big fan. I'm fine with ketchup. I like sriracha and hot sauce also. Well, I also put mustard on my hot dogs, like mix them together, ketchup and mustard. All right, done with that. Okay, so I'm trying to write my minor points section. I'm gonna switch the order. I don't want to do this shit first. Alright, we should do the order differently. Okay. First, we're gonna do the most important stuff. Second, we're gonna look at his errors, and third, we'll do minor comments. That's like a way better order. I want people to think I'm making petty criticism. Okay. Uh, Conclusion, I guess. So errors goes here. This order should make more sense. Right. I don't have to say this here. I can say it in the conclusion. Conclusion. Oh, this is a temporary title. Okay. I'll add something about quote colors later. I'll do like yellow equal Kirzner, green equal Reisman, red equal Mises or something. I might bring in some Mises quotes, although I might not need to. We'll see. But yeah, people who are not used to it might get a little confused if I just jump into like block quote comment. So mentioning the colors will help, and I do want to have color coding. Okay, so the biggest thing with the arguments is I wanted to get this Bomba worksheet, which I haven't fully read. Did I even put it in here? Did I put it in here? Alright. Subjective. Alright, I need to actually read this. Starting like here. But I think it is break time. Alright, well that's enough for now. Hopefully it's interesting to see writing process. Later.